All right, so as soon as the truck started fishtailing going downhill on an icy road in the Maine winter, which we're all familiar with, I knew we were in trouble. It is the day after Thanksgiving, 2007, and my wife and I, who had been married at about this time about 2 months, we're on our way to get a Christmas tree at our parents' house. So it's this idyllic scene, full of joy, holiday cheer. Except I wasn't really partaking in that. I was in full "woe is me" mode. I was depressed, sulking in the passenger seat. I had just received a rejection from a journal, which is pretty much the worst thing that can happen to you if you are an academic, especially a budding academic who has never been published before. And these reviews were particularly harsh. So there's nothing worse that can happen. I'm sitting in the back. I refuse to drive in this new truck. And so I'm not wearing my seatbelt, and nothing else matters. So also with us is the new dog that we had gotten. His name is Bear, and we still have him to this day. And he also is not wearing his seatbelt. So we're driving. It's a nice day. It should have been a happy occasion, but again, everything is just awful for me. So we crest this hill. There's no snow on the ground, but apparently it had rained the night before, and the roads were icy. So we hit the top of this hill, and the truck starts to lose control a little bit. My wife is driving, and she panics and starts screaming. And I don't know if you've ever been in a fishtailing truck before, but there's really nothing you can do. It's going back and forth all across the road. We're on a highway. It's 202 or 201, I think. And it's just pure panic and fear. So what happened next is the most scared I've ever been, the most in pain I've ever been. So she's screaming. The truck is fishtailing. I'm hoping that the worst that will happen is that we'll go off the road. This truck we had just gotten for the purpose of driving in the snow we had already gone off the road twice. We had it for 2 months, and so it's fishtailing, and it starts to go towards the snowbank, and I'm hoping that it will just go off the snowbank, and that will be the end of it. But it must hit it just at a right angle, because the truck flipped in the air, went airborne, flipped over, landed on its hood, and then flipped over again. Okay. So I don't remember much of that. I know that it happened because the windshield busted out, and I landed on my back at some point, and the searing pain. And so I don't know if anybody has been in a severe car accident, but there's something surreal about it that's different than you see in the movies. So a car accident in the movies, there will be a lot of crashing and glass shattering, and it's really loud. But in reality, a really severe car accident, there's this sort of stillness, this dullness about it, this plastic sound that's more horrifying than anything that you can imagine. So that's happening. We land, and I think I must have been in shock at this point. So I'm yelling, "I'm hurt! I'm hurt!" And I get out of the car, and my wife, who was Andrea, who was buckled, luckily, she's okay. She's shaken. She calls the ambulance. They come and they take me to the hospital. And so I'm laying there and just writhing in pain. My back is just, in agony. The doctors come take some X-rays, and they send me back to my room, and I don't know what's going on. So family is coming. Her parents come into the hospital room, and I'm sitting there going, I don't know what's happening here. And then I say, where's Andrea? And my father-in-law, her father, looks at me and says, well, she's been arrested. So I don't think she did it on purpose. I mean, I know she didn't like the truck. So what happened was she was driving her old car that summer. She had gotten pulled over, and it wasn't registered, and there was a misunderstanding. The officer who pulled her over was actually a family member. When he found out he was a family member, he was afraid of her grandfather being angry that he pulled her over, so he said, don't worry about it. So we figured everything was okay. But what he meant was that you were supposed to go to court, and she didn't go to court, and so she had a warrant out for arrest. So at this point, I'm laying in the hospital, not sure if my back is broken. My wife is in jail, being booked. She's fingerprinted, the whole deal, and I don't know where my dog is, right? So miraculously, everything worked out. The dog was okay. He was found later in the field, and my back wasn't broken, just some damage there. And Andrea was eventually released from prison. The best part of this story is that she turned her life around. She stopped committing crimes, and she hasn't been arrested since. So thanks.